great. That's one part of the story I don't think people knew. He assumed his wife had his back, but you didn't know if it was, all right, get this out of your system. It's never going to happen. If she was trying to talk him out of it, just because, hey, she cares about him. It's his wife. And if she just felt like it was reaching a point of obsession with him and it wasn't going to happen, I could, it would be understandable if she had told him, don't do this, time to move on, give up. But no, she was there with him, and it sounds like every step of the way. And he had to convince Dr. Joseph Maroon, the WWE physician who basically ended his career at one point, forced him into retirement, and for good reason, because of what his neurological testing was showing. And Bryan went to just a ton of different specialists, and sounds like got together with Maroon and ended up like, what do I have to do? Who do I have to see to get you to clear me? And he eventually cleared those hurdles, and here we are today.
It's funny because I know I sent you this when it happened, and of all places to hear a Daniel Bryan interview. It was on the Devil's All Access podcast back in November. And for those who want to go look it up, it's like a 12-minute interview. I actually looked it off my phone, so I didn't plug it right. It's from November 10th. It's a bonus mini pod with it's a WWE Superstar / SmackDown GM Daniel Bryan with it's Outer Raquel and the beautiful Amanda Stein.
Yeah.
And that was the interview where I'm like, wait, is there a chance? Like, that was back in November. I'm like, is there really a chance that he might be coming back? But then I put it back in the back of my head, like, no, don't let yourself believe it. Don't let yourself believe it. And now I'm sitting here in my Daniel Bryan Yes t-shirt, excited and ecstatic. So who knew?
I am so elated that he did not give up and he pursued this. And kudos to Daniel Bryan for having that fighting spirit that everyone should have.
Yeah, and I will say it was mentioned Brie, and for those who do actually watch like Total Bellas and Total Divas, I didn't watch the last season of Total Bellas. I just didn't have the time, and I just got sick of watching the same 5 people over and over again for 7 or 8 weeks. Not gonna lie, but I guess it was that season where really they were pushing. Brie was pushing him, get in to do this, and now here we are. I'm so happy.
Well, and even then, Blake, you don't. I mean, it's reality TV.
Exactly.
Is that, for the cameras and then off cameras, you're like, come on, man. But no, that's cool because I don't keep close tabs on those shows. It's just there's only so much time one person can commit to wrestling. So it's good to know that actually was shown.
Yeah, and I watch Total Divas more than Total Bellas just because like Alexa Bliss and Nia Jax and all them are on that show. So I won't watch that one.
I would be more likely to watch Total Bellas just for Big Johnny.
True. Very, very true. Very, very true.
So can we chant like dream chants now instead of yes? Dream.
Well,
dream.
Now you're confusing them with Dusty Rhodes. Then we're going back to Dusty Rhodes. So that's a whole different thing.
True.
That's over at NXT right now. It's Rhodes Tag Team Block.
There you go. There you go.
All right, let's move on.
You'd start getting like hate tweets from Cody and things like that. So yeah, they better leave that one alone.
Oh, before I move on, Mandy pointed this out to me during SmackDown. The Miz put up one of the most hilarious tweets last night on Instagram and on Twitter, and it was him saying, "Oh, Daniel Bryan's back," and it's him at an announce table slow clapping. Absolutely amazing. I cracked up.
He still can't let that go from NXT stuff?
No, this is from SmackDown Talking Smack last year.
Yeah.
I thought it was fantastic. That was like putting seeds in for a future match, and I hope they do it. I really do hope we get Daniel Bryan versus The Miz finally.
The master and the teacher, that type of scenario?
Not even that, just because they were antagonizing each other so much last year. It's going to be great.
Yeah, that was one of the great feuds that couldn't lead to anything. They were tearing into each other, and there was so much great tension there. And, Miz still does the Daniel Bryan kicks and all of that. If they don't end up on the same brand post-WrestleMania, I'm going to be really disappointed. You can still get to the match somehow. It's WWE. It's not like they haven't crossed brands before. But that's a match that I think people really want to see. That's going to be a lot of fun whenever that happens.
I totally 100% agree. All right, let's move on. I have a couple things I want to get to. First of all, the funny part is when I put this run sheet together before the Daniel Bryan news, there wasn't a whole lot to talk about. But I do want to put out there, but this has to do really with the New York area where half of this show is based most of the time. But WrestleMania 35 will be back at MetLife Stadium. in 2019. We have already christened it, raising the logo WrestleMania Lady Liberty, which will now be called from now on this show. We don't have a cool name for this year's, but next year's we have one for.
I thought we were going back to numbers.
Well, no, the logo is literally the Lady Liberty in the WrestleMania logo. It's actually a really cool logo.
Did I lose you guys?
I hear you, loud and clear. I got you.
We got you.
Now you're back. Oh, sorry about that.
It's all good. It's all good. I was joking around, though. So now, since we're in New Orleans this year, and next year we're back in Jersey, does that mean WrestleMania 36 is in Miami? If we're going backwards up the old schedule?
Well, one of the things I was told by somebody in the industry was that, don't be surprised if they kind of settle into a rotation almost. And it doesn't mean they're not open to going other places because, look, that LA Stadium is opening and there's going to be a stadium in Las Vegas and those are going to be destinations. But it's easier on the company to end up, dealing with places they've been before where they know and politicians come and go, but in many cases they've dealt with a lot of the same people in those markets. So it's not surprising to kind of see them returning to the same locations. Again, if it won't just be LA and Vegas, but if there's a stadium that opens somewhere
Minnesota.
That's attractive to them, something happened there. I don't know exactly. I mean, I've heard different theories on it. Out of them is it just was something the politicians didn't amount of money or something. I don't know the specifics, but so it's for some reason Minnesota fell through, even though everything seemed lined up perfectly because manages the stadium used to work for WWE, and so something fell through. I don't know if Minnesota's off the list permanently or if it's just something that, the political climate, you got to wait before we're going to be able to commit this kind of money. But hopefully one of these years it will make its way to US Bank Stadium. I'm a Minnesota guy and that'd be a hell of a place for it.
Yeah, I was going to say, just give it a couple of years and then Triple H will smooth it over like he does everybody else.
Yeah.
Pretty much. I want to remind people, I right before we went on the air, I'm like, oh shit, I got to find this clip. Back at WrestleMania 29, for those who don't remember this, and me and Sal have been obsessed with this ever since, this is actually right before our first show when this happened. Vince McMahon did a tour of the stadium.
Oh my God, I was thinking of that as soon as you brought up the return to New York. This is awesome.
I went and found the clip. This is about 17 seconds and it's worth listening to. Vince McMahon showing off the stadium at Life Field.
That's the Statue of Liberty. And if you really get your hands on it, then you head to the Brooklyn Bridge. It's the Empire State Building.
Oh, I love it. I love that every time I hear it. Cracks me up.
I got
every time I see Vince now, that like the Brooklyn Bridge just runs through my head. I can't help it.
It's so funny.
Well, then it would not be inconceivable, say, if 2020 to have it like in Texas.
Oh, Dallas. Back in Dallas.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Back in Dallas. Wouldn't it be that
I'm sure they'll end up back there.
Big D, yeah.
Try to break their own record back from last time. But hopefully, though, they figure out how to get everybody in the building this time. Like last time.
Fashion, man. One of my guys, I had two guys from ProWrestling.net that went to the show. One of them was able to kind of sneak through a certain area, and his brother and Will Pruitt was able to kind of sneak through, and Jake Barnett and Will's brother were right behind him, and for some reason security stopped Jake and the brother, but Will was able to get in, and Jake and his brother stood outside in the long line forever and missed almost all of the kickoff show. It was that line, which was a 2-hour show, so that shows you just how inept it was when trying to for fans trying to get into the stadium.
Yeah, I remember hearing that at one of the post-WrestleMania shows that Will was trying to get in to make sure he's turned Brie Bella's last match. I remember that.
Yes, Will loves him some Brie Bella, so I'm sure he's a very happy man this morning. I haven't checked in with him yet, but assuming he's up to speed and saw SmackDown, he's pretty giddy about all the love that Brie was shown.
Oh, and also I actually want to remind me, a friend of the show and ProWrestling.net person, Hayden Lee put up a fantastic blog about Daniel Bryan. I read it this morning.
He did, yeah.
Yeah, I read it this morning. I was like, I meant to message him personally and tell him it was great. I'll have to talk to him later. That it was really, really great. So I just want to plug that.
Are made across the pond.
Oh, man, you're going to build up his ego too much, though. Now he's going to be making these weird demands and expecting limo service and whales and all this different stuff. But, yeah, that was a great piece that he wrote.
Yeah, so. All right, one last thing. And this was out of the controversy of last week, and I love how we went from this controversy to Daniel Bryan. Okay, so the controversy last week, coming out of the Raw and SmackDown, was the infamous move that the WWE decided to do the Fabulous Moolah Memorial Battle Royal, and then after a shitload of online backlash, it's now the WrestleMania Women's Battle Royal. Jason, would you like to explain to the audience what the hell happened here?
Well, first of all, I do need to clarify. When I say limo service in Wales, that's like 2 sheep and like a little red wagon that pull it. So Hayden knows what I'm talking about. We go back and forth about me being American and him being a Welshie or whatever they're called over there, the town sheep that is groomed for birthdays and special events and things of that nature. At any rate, Fabulous Moolah. Yeah, this was just a stupid move by WWE. Look, I mean, there's people defending Fabulous Moolah at this point. Some people that worked for, that were trained by her, lived with her, that are saying, hey, these allegations are untrue. So it's a kind of a matter of, different people saying different things about her. Look, WWE had to be aware of this. They had to know. I know there's a lot of people in that company that aren't really wrestling fans and may not have known, but there had to be somebody in that company that could have stopped and said, look, man, we can't do this, and here's why. There's all these allegations. Plus, we know that she basically did everything she could to monopolize women's wrestling for so many years and ended up holding a lot of people back. And, so there's people complaining now that, that it's all allegations. She wasn't, she's not here to defend herself. And look, everything with Harvey Weinstein is an allegation at this point. Nobody's going to name a frickin' battle royal after him or an Oscar award after him. This was stupid on their part. And I'm just happy that the candy company stepped up and said, hey, we don't want any part of this. But I also look at it as one down, one to go, because there's no way in hell a feel-good award should be named after Ultimate Warrior, considering all the hate speeches and everything else that guy delivered.
It's true. I've been on that bandwagon with you guys for a while now, and it's just funny that the Warrior Award is still happening in New Orleans after everything that was said there.
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, I guess it just depends how much pressure people put on the candy company or another sponsor, because that's what does it. Like, I think WWE was pretty brazen with the Moolah thing, just as they were with Warrior. And so it's something like that. I think they just felt like, this is me assuming what the mindset is. And, they were clearly aware of Warriors and his rants. It was hard to avoid. And I think they just feel like, there's a hardcore portion of the fan base that knows about it, but we're worried about the masses, and we can sell the masses on this, and we want to do business with the widow Dana Warrior and the family, and that part of it is nice. I get that, but I think you can still do business with them and not have the award named after this guy. It's not even what he wanted. He wanted there to be an award that was given to somebody who worked inside the company. One of the many almost anonymous faces said, do so many. He talked about Jimmy Miranda. I mean, there's just so many people that will never be considered for the Hall of Fame that that have a lot to do with it, whether it's production or just, whatever department. That's what he wanted. They've turned this into a corporate feel-good award. And yeah, I mean, it's not right to name this award after him. I know his wife has said that he had a change of heart, but we don't, there's nothing out there with Warrior and all of his diatribes. There's not that one going, hey, everybody, I was wrong. And so, I mean, I don't think it will change this year, but I also didn't think the Moolah would change this year. If there's enough pressure on the candy company or WWE, maybe they do drop it, or I guess given the backlash to Moolah, I wouldn't be surprised if, they stick with the Warrior Award this year, and next year it's renamed somehow.
All right, Dom, Dad, your thoughts on everything going on here?
My whole thing is, I think because you have the Mae Young Classic, that they wanted to somewhat honor Moolah, but they had to do their homework before they did this, and I think that's where they dropped the ball.
True. It's very, very true. Very, very true. All right. Quick thoughts. I got 3 quick things I want to bring up here that's part of the lexicon lately. John Cena, Undertaker stuff going on, but the real story I want to ask about is what do you